one spirit, one source. I am enough. We are one, one. We are one, one. We are one, one. We are one, one.
Yeah, writing new free songs.
Yes.
That's fabulous. Well,
Thank you.
how fun to have our band here. I
Once
know
again, we love it.
musicians and their gigs have been getting cut right and left.
Yes, they have.
I feel very good that Seaside's able to say, you know what, still have a Sunday morning gig, guys. So we love you. That's Paul on the drums and Max on the piano. Just want you to notice, everybody at home, the space. They've got a screen between them. In the
That's right.
far corner is Harley on that bass. And then we got Bob out in the front. So just so everybody at home knows, we have space going on. You and I, we're way apart. And Chris is on one side of the hall, and we got our wonderful practitioner, Kay Samuelson, on the other side. So we're taking care of that. We're being wise. So how are you doing with all
I'm
this?
doing okay, managing and maintaining, and I've been, trying to take advantage of this time to write songs like that,
Nice.
and just take care of things at home since, we're all kind of self-quarantining. So.
Yeah. I've got a lot of food, or I used to have a lot of food. I've got a few extra pounds. All my emergency food's gone.
Yeah, you and me both.
Oh, yeah.
Callie, we mentioned, we're doing a lot more dishes nowadays.
Oh, you are?
So,
Well,
yes.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, I'm doing my share too.
Good. I'm thinking collectively. We're all kind of cooking more at home, so it's,
that's for
a
sure.
little bit more work here and.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's crazy. They're ticketing people who go to the beach now.
Really?
Yeah, is that crazy?
Wow.
They've got tape around parks. You can't go to the closing national parks. It's a wild time.
It is.
Can you believe you're not allowed to go to the beach?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a bummer.
It
but
is.
kind of what's necessary, hopefully, only for a more period of time.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
That's it. We'll be done. So anyway, hey, what we'd like to do here always is put spirit first.
Absolutely.
First, I want to say, because I didn't say, hello, guys. We know you are there. It's just wonderful that you are there. We're getting emails and cards and letters and contributions. And we've created these wonderful Zoom rooms based on the Sunday message that we call Sacred Circles. We have literally 1,000, I wish. I'm dreaming. That's a dream. We literally have 100 people. That was an extra zero. Involved with our Sacred Circles. We have 14 Zoom rooms with our practitioners facilitating coming together small groups via Zoom. So just go to the Seaside website, go to the education page, and just go to education. You say, hey, I want to go on this day and this time, and you're welcome. There's no cost to that. So we're offering that. I got to assure you, one of the things, love, connection, conversation, compassion, no, we're keeping them here at Seaside. We're not discontinuing those. They have not been canceled. Those are going on. And one of the things that keeps us connected is prayer. And it's about remembering spirit. And so one of the things I asked everybody last week, and I want to ask you again this week, is to light a candle every day, if you would, in remembrance of Seaside and your family here, that you just put that in prayer. And when we open our doors, we're going to invite everybody to bring their candle back, and we're going to have it here and just see the amazing light. But I want you to know these two candles on the stage, Callie has taken those and we have placed them in our west window, the side facing the beach. And so every night we turn these e-candles on and just let the world know that the light continues here at Seaside. So we feel your love, and I want you to know we're here for you. And we believe that it's prayer and meditation that keeps us connected. And so I want to start today with wonderful prayer from a wonderful practitioner, and that is Kay Samuelson. Okay.
So I invite you to surrender your cares and concerns into the loving presence of Spirit. Just breathe. For all of life is breathing us together as one, body, mind, and soul. The truth of our nature emerges from this very moment, for it is the power in the presence of picturing itself as this service. I know there is a higher power that is assisting humanity and our precious Mother Earth in these challenging times and uncertainties. For we are a part of a larger system. The universe is a self-organizing and self-correcting system. And we are a part of the greater whole. We are returning to love and remembering the truth of who we are as love. For love heals and renews. It restores balance, integrates harmony. For it is the revelation of love, revealing itself as wholeness. Heart to heart, soul to soul, with reverence for all of life. I know it is our community that continues to inspire, uplift, and create greater connections in new ways of visualizing itself and understanding itself. For it is all spirit connecting us together as one. So I'm truly grateful to be a part of this community, knowing it is Spirit orchestrating, guiding, guarding, and protecting. And so it is.
God is real. God is magnificent. God is light. God is love. I am real. I am magnificent. I am light. I am love. We are real. We are magnificent. We are light. We are love.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Kay, for lighting the light, holding consciousness through these times. Max, being there on that piano, the Busendorfer, the Paul Lloyd Warner piano, that's beautiful. Rebecca, that's the call to worship I was trying to think of last week. That was good. I like that. Yeah. So, as I've shared, we've been receiving emails just continuously, and letters and cards and contributions. And I wanted to share a couple just so you get a sense of what we're feeling, because the seats may be empty here, but I want you to know that this sanctuary and this moment is alive. It is filled with your consciousness. We can feel your presence. It's an exciting time. And so here are some of the letters we've received. This is from Cindy, and she wrote that Seaside has been so very thoughtful during these times and these new and different times. I just wanted to let you know and appreciate how I am experiencing Seaside, and it is doing so much for us. Carolyn Holder is our practitioner, so I am so touched. I'm in touch with her regularly, and I'll be joining her Sacred Circle on Zoom. I'm excited to be connecting to like-minded people. And since I'm not working and I'm sheltering at home, I've had much time for prayer and meditation, enjoying online spiritual gatherings, reading inspirational books, and staying grateful. You're always an inspiration to me. I hold all of you at Seaside in my thoughts and prayers. Here's a card. Band, you'll like this one. This one came from Kathy. She wrote, I can't begin to tell you how great the service is. And from start to finish, everyone contributes so much joy, love, and spiritual goodness. And I want to thank the musicians who played so long at the end. The sound was awesome. So nice job, guys. Here's one from Kathy. During your meditation, I thought about how this experience has propelled Noonday Meditations to be online, and I trust they're going to continue when the coast is clear for getting together. It's such a blessing to see and to hear your calmness and the affirmations and the divinity. Here's one from Daryl. Daryl is the one who lost his wife of 45 years, Carol. He says, the messages are always just what I need to hear, particularly now and especially now. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for sending it out to me. Here's another one from Alexis. Thank you so much for sharing your prayers and sharing your love. I have shared it with so many others as well. I hope you and the Seaside family are doing well through this challenging time. And I could keep on going, but we've got so much more to do. I just want you to be aware that we're touching lives. And it's very exciting. And so one of the things that touched many people last week was Callie and her beautiful reading. And so I asked Callie if she would join us again this week. And she said yes, which is always never a given in my world. A lot of people say yes to me most of the time. Callie, as my wife, finds the opportunities to say no sometimes. But this time, she said yes, at least to all of you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. What an honor to be back, and my joy, even if we are only connecting virtually, it's still, I feel your joy, and I feel your presence here. The reading I've chose today is by Jack Kornfield. And I chose it because it really related to the divine feminine perspective. And it's the Bodhisattva response to the coronavirus. We have a choice. Epidemics, like earthquakes, tornadoes, and floods, are part of the cycle of life on planet Earth. How will we respond? With greed, hatred, fear, ignorance? This only brings more suffering. Or with generosity, clarity, steadfastness, and love. This is the time for love. A time for bodhisattvas. In the Buddhist teaching, the bodhisattva is someone who vows to alleviate suffering and brings blessings in every circumstance. A bodhisattva chooses to live with dignity and courage and radiates compassion for all, no matter where they find themselves. This is not a metaphor. As bodhisattvas, we are now asked to hold a certain measure of tragedy of the world and continue to respond with love. The bodhisattva path is right in front of us. The beautiful thing is, we can see and feel the bodhisattvas all around us. We see them in the singing from the balconies to those shut inside. We see them in the young neighbors caring for the elders nearby, and our brave healthcare workers, and the unheralded ones who continue to stock the shelves of our grocery stores. What can I do? What can we do? In this moment, we sit quietly. We take a deep breath and acknowledge our own fear and our own apprehension, our uncertainty, our helplessness, and hold these feelings with compassion in your heart. And we can say to these feelings and uncertainty, thank you. Thank you for protecting me. And I am okay now. I am okay. We can put our fears in the lap of the Buddha, the Mother Mary, the Kuan Yin, or Mother Father God, and place them in the hearts of the generations of brave physicians and scientists who have tended the world in former epidemics. When we do, we can feel ourselves part of something greater, of generations of survivors in the vast web of history and life, being carried, as the elders say, by the great winds across the sky. This is a time of mystery and uncertainty. Take a deep breath. The veils of separation are parting, and reality of interconnection is apparent everywhere on earth. We have needed this pause, perhaps even more. We needed our shelter in place, our isolation, to see how much we need one another. Now is the time to add our part. The Bodhisattva deliberately turns toward suffering to serve and help those around us in whatever way we can. This is the test we have been waiting for. We know how to do this. It is time to renew our vow, to sit quietly again and ask our heart, what is my best intention, my most noble aspiration for this difficult time? Your heart will answer. Let this vow become your North Star. Whenever you feel lost, remember, and it reminds you of what truly matters. It is a time to be the medicine, the uplifting music, the lamp in the darkness. Burst out with love. Be the carrier of hope. Trust your dignity and trust your goodness. Where others hoard, help. Where others deceive, stand for truth. Where others are overwhelmed and uncaring, be kind, be respectful. When you worry about your parents, your children, your beloved ones, let your heart open to share everyone's care for their parents, their children, and their loved ones. This is the great heart of compassion. The Bodhisattva directs compassion toward everyone, those who are suffering and vulnerable, and those who are causing the suffering. We are in this together. It is time to reimagine a new world, to envisioning our sharing common humanity, to envision how we can live in the deepest, most beautiful way possible. Coming through this difficult time, what we intend and we nurture, we can do. In the end, remember, you are in timeless awareness. The consciousness that was born into your body. You were born a child of spirit, and even now, you can turn towards this awareness and become the loving awareness that witnesses yourself, reading, feeling, reflecting. When a baby is born, our first response is love. When a dear one dies, we hold the hand as a gesture of love. Timeless love and awareness are who you are. Trust it. The whole world awaits your compassionate heart. Let us join in this great task together. And as we journey down this yellow brick road, know that we do so together, and we will see you at the end together. We love you.
Powerful, powerful reading, Callie. Thank you so much. Well, good morning. It is my honor, as it is on Sundays, to introduce our guest artists, and this young lady holds a special place in my heart. We've sung together in a band for many years together, and we've maintained outside of that just being just awesome friends, and I just love her dearly. She's exceptionally talented. She's just a beautiful spirit, multi-talented person, and she actually has released, she has her own organization of singing online called The Bold Vocal, and she gives not only voice lessons, but she also puts out all these really awesome self-care videos, and you can follow her on Facebook, The Bold Vocal, and this week she's releasing a video series, would you say? It's a series that is called Singing for Self-Care. And this is going to be really good, especially right now. It's to help you through whatever we're all kind of feeling right now. You know, it's grief, it's sadness, it's uncertainty. And you don't have to be a singer to follow this series. You know, this is for anybody and everybody. So please find her page on Facebook, The Bold Vocal, and see and just follow along and just take all these wonderful tips that she's going to share with you to just help us all get through this process together. All right, but right now she's going to sing a beautiful song for us, and her name is Carissa Schrader.
It is incredibly hard not to hug Rebecca Jade when you see her. Has anybody else experienced that? Oh, I'm dying to hug you right now. Thank you so much for the beautiful intro. And yeah, if you're watching from home, part of singing and feeling good in your body is actually movement and moving breath and energy through yourself. So I encourage you during this song to stand up at home and move around and put a smile on your face and let this band carry you.
You're the future, and you've come for what is yours, the hidden treasure, locked behind the hidden doors, and the promise of a day that's shining new. Only a dreamer could afford this point of view, but you're a driver, not a passenger in life. And when you're ready, you won't have to try, 'cause you are the universe, and there ain't nothing you can do. If you conceive it, you can achieve it. That's why I believe in you. You're a winner, so do what you came here for. Nothing isn't so secret anymore. Well, you're a driver, not a passenger in life. And when you're ready, you won't have to try, 'cause you are the
Seaside, your band. Thank you so much.
Ooh, thank you so much, Carissa. Yeah, I
so
can't
much.
hug you up here.
Beautiful.
This is hard, huh?
I wanna hug all of you so badly.
Band just rocks, as always. So, all right. So here we are. We are in the midst of a journey, an epic journey, a hero's journey. Joseph Campbell gave us some wonderful guidelines that just is part of a journey. And that first is the call. And they say, whew, I don't want to go. And after the refusal of the call, one embraces the call. And then all of a sudden things begin to conspire to get us to go for that. And we get to the threshold. And once we are at that threshold, we find ourselves just swallowed into the cave, into the darkness, into the belly of the whale. And the trials hit us one after another until we're just brought to embracing the beloved itself. And along that journey, we have found wonderful friends. And as Callie, your reading was just beautiful. The neighbors, the heroes are all around us, these unsung bodhisattvas of compassion we didn't expect. And there they are. And so as we open our hearts and we move to that deeper level, we begin to respond in different ways. And saw this story, and I've used this story in my writings, the poisonous tree, and I thought it'd be good to start this journey because we see things we're unfamiliar with. And the story of the poisonous tree is the lower level. When one comes across a poisonous tree and the fruits, they go, they get angry. How could you be in my life? Everything is blamed on this tree. You're horrific. You're ruining my life. You're bad omens. You're bringing bad stuff into my world. And that's really the first level. And the second level, a little bit further along the path, realize I got some choice here. And the patriarchal masculine energy is, I'm going to cut down that tree. I'm going to get rid of it. It is anger that they approach it. It is a self-righteousness. Let's get rid of that. And the next level, a little bit further on the spiritual maturity, comes to more of the feminine approach. It says, I got a little bit more compassion for this tree. I don't need to kill this tree. We'll just build a fence around it and keep the tree safe and keep the people safe. But the fourth level of spiritual maturity is really a combination of the two, of the masculine and the feminine. And that is, I want to understand this tree. I take the fruit and I sit with this poisonous fruit and say, teach me, like George Washington Carver in The Peanuts. Show me something I don't know. What is it, the medicine that is here that can be used? Hippocrates, the father of medicine, says that which causes is also capable of curing, or homeopathy, like cures like. It's like that next level of spiritual maturity is, let me understand what is going on here. So the first is a response of self-pity. Look what's happening to me. The next one is anger. Let me kill it, cut it out. The third one is just let me quarantine it and put it over here. And then the final one is, you know what? There's something I need to know here. There's something I need to understand here. And I share that because as we're moving into this time, I don't want us just to cut ourselves off and forget to turn within and listen, because we're heading down this yellow brick road together. We are heading on this odyssey. We're moving to a place, and what I can tell you at the front end, and as I told you last week, is that this journey is going to lead you back to yourself. Now, how much you are available to understand in this journey is only yours to do. But I assure you, what is there is beautiful, what is there is God, and you must allow yourself to be vulnerable to experience the depths of your being. Louise Hay used to say that there's someone somewhere looking to find exactly what it is you have to offer. So I'm telling you up front, you've got something that the world wants and it needs. So listen to that inner intelligence and that wisdom. Because as we move down this road, our journey begins with catching a vision of a greater possibility, like Dorothy, and seeing the rainbow. The rainbow is an indication of something stirring, a spiritual download. The rainbow has been in all the mythic stories from the beginning of time. Even Noah on the boat knew that when he would see the rainbow, the new world would begin. The rainbow brings a freshness, a new possibility. It's almost a bridge from the heavens to the earth. It is the rainbow bridge in which our ancestors and the angels, if you would, are coming to earth, and we we are going there. It is the exchange of the ideas and the possibilities. It is the U-shape, meaning it is going up. It is also coming down to the pot of gold. It is the golden era. It is a sign that stirs the soul and makes one feel good. It expands the dreams. It is a Hawaii. It is a blessing when you see a rainbow, and sometimes it is double. Dorothy got it. It's like, wow, this is good stuff. And then what happens from there? Mrs. Gulch comes and takes Toto. That is not my idea of a good start to a journey. It's like, this is not a good thing. I was believing in a greater possibility. And Mrs. Gulch comes and says, Toto, the last little innocence of this whole picture at that point, because Dorothy's heavy by then, and she takes Toto and says, your dog bit me, and I have got something that says that we can destroy her. And she takes Toto, and Dorothy says, I would bite you myself, you wicked old witch, which is kind of a prophecy, like your life returns to you what you put out there. And off she goes, and with Toto, and Toto, as we know, jumps out of the basket and comes on home. And Dorothy knows that if something is going to change, I've got to do something drastically different. Great call to the road. You got anything going on in your life that isn't quite working? Is there something you drastically know that you need to do that's different than what you're doing, or are you going to keep getting what you're getting, right? So she stuffs some clothes into the bag and she takes off. She heads down the road and runs into Professor Marvel. And he plays 5 parts actually in this movie. But in this role of this, charlatan or this wacky professor or snake oil salesman kind of guy, but he's kind of wise. He's been around a while. He has the compassion. He understands. He sees the bag of clothes and says, they don't understand you at home, do they? There's something you want to get away. You want to see the big cities, the lights, the big mountains, the big oceans. She says, you're reading my mind. Well, you don't need to be a wizard to do that. But, and then he says, well, let me check out the crystal ball. And she closes her eyes and he takes a picture of Annie M out of her bag. And from the compassion, it says, I see this lady, and she describes it, says, that's Annie M. And he says, Annie M is holding her heart. Somebody hurt her. She's very sad, to which Dorothy said, I got to go back to Annie M. But now the storm's blowing in. Okay, you got to have a good storm. For any good theatrical show, you got to have a storm. And here comes the storm. It is a twister. It is a tornado. And, there's like, she's going home. You got this calm. But then all of a sudden, before the calm, the sky is beautiful. All of a sudden, the wind hits and starts ripping the trees on the right side of her and the left side of her. And she gets home and she, could hardly open the gate against the wind. They couldn't get in the storm cellar. They had already locked themselves in. She opens the screen door on the house, and the twister rips it out of her hands, and she goes into the house, into her room where her place of security is, wants to go home, wants to go back to the familiar, and out comes the windows, and back, boom, hits her. And she spins into this altered state, which is really part of the initiational process, an altered state. And she begins to go into that place that is a little bit deeper. She faces, the fears and the demons, the witch, which is really the shadow side of herself. Who wants to look at the shadow side of yourself? It takes something that allows you to project it to the outside, and you think my evil twin is out there. It's not really part of me. But there's aspects of the shadow in our world that keep showing up that we think is out there. What are those areas of your life that you don't like? What twisters do you have going on in your world that is just tearing things apart? What twisters have you gone through? This is a conversation for you guys at home, if you want. It's like, what twisters have you gone through? A busted relationship? Have you lost a job? Is there an illness or a death or a twister in your world that has just upended your world and it cast you into an altered state, like a quarantine from a plague, possibly? There's things that are going on, but I want to share with you something Hazrat Inayat Khan wrote. And he was the one who brought Sufism to the West. And a wonderful quote here that you may have heard, but he wrote that I asked for strength and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. I asked for wisdom, and God gave me problems to solve. I had this dream. No, he didn't say that. But I asked for prosperity, and God gave me a brain and brawn to do the work. I asked for courage, and God gave me dangers to overcome. I asked for love, and God gave me people to help. There you go. You got courage, you got brains, you got love that they're looking for. I asked for the favors, and God gave me opportunities. And I received nothing I wanted, and I received everything I needed. So we catch this vision of the rainbow. Say, I got to go out on this journey. I don't know where it leads. What's up? What's going on? And it doesn't look like I thought. I was looking for prosperity, not necessarily brains. Looking for love. And all of a sudden, we're given these opportunities to bring forth a part of our character. And so one of the things that I think is important, and I got this analogy from Amma, the hugging saint, who we ventured a little bit with in the fall. And she drew this analogy of learning to drive. And you become a real good driver, you're a careful driver. But there's still careless drivers out there on the road. And there is that possibility of an accident that awaits you. And so you have to pray for grace. It's like, wow, that's interesting. Because you do what you need to do in this world. You need to, if quarantine is the word, if you need to do a particular something to take care of yourself in this world, don't forget to pray for grace, because as much good as you're doing to prepare yourself to be right, you have to have that spirit, that grace, that something that is beyond your control to come on into this moment, to express itself. Because we cannot necessarily control the outcomes in our world, but what we can control is our thinking. What we can control is our inner peace and calm, and not give our power away to that which is on the outside. What we can do is we have the ability to respond, or responsibility. That the way through the situation that we find ourselves on is through it. You got that? And if there is a dynamic situation, Hazrat Inyad Khan was saying, maybe God meant this for good. The poisonous tree says, maybe you need to sit here on the yellow brick road and seek understanding. And so Dorothy is dropped down in the middle of somewhere, she's not sure. She came from Kansas, gray and black and bleak and flat and monotone. And she opens up the door and literally, Technicolor. There is color like she has never seen before, and the flowers the size of plates, and little munchkins giggling, and birds singing. All of a sudden, her cheeks are rosy, and her gingham dress is colorful. And it's like she says to her little dog she has in her arm, Toto, I feel that, she didn't say I think, she says, I feel like we're not in Kansas anymore. It's like, duh. It's like, I feel this. I can see it and I sense it. And there is something that is powerful that is going on in her life right there in that moment. There is a shift that is taking place. There is a realization that something has happened. There is no turning back. Though there was no turning back when she packed her bags and left the house, but she didn't realize she was on already that yellow brick road. It just didn't have its color yet. But those things have thrust her into an experience where all of a sudden she realizes to return home, she's going to have to go through this experience, whatever it is. And as the fear or the concern begins to creep up, there's this orb, this luminescent orb in the distance that gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it lands at her feet. And out comes Glinda, the good witch of the north. This kind of character is in all mythology. There is this beloved wisdom. This glistening person who asks Dorothy, are you a good witch? Or are you a bad witch? To which Dorothy said, well, I'm neither a good witch or a bad witch. Witches are old and ugly, at which time the munchkins start giggling and laughing. And Glinda says, oh yeah, I'm a witch. To which Dorothy's preconceived notions are obliterated. All of a sudden, the thoughts that preceded that moment about witches and then other things is gone. She became available for following this new path that she didn't know where it went, but there was something she could trust. And you take a look at Glinda, this is an amazing thing. Her necklace, do you notice her necklace? It's a butterfly. You talk about the metaphorical symbolism of mythic stories from the beginning of time. The caterpillar who saw the rainbow, the dream, or the entelechy, if you would, of the possibility of a butterfly. And what Glinda is representing, at least according to Jean Houston, whose book we're following on this path, is that the entelechy is a word that Jean Houston loves. It comes from the Greek word. It is the fullest realization of the thing. The fullest realization of the thing. In other words, it is the oak tree that is the entelechy of the acorn. It is the butterfly that is the entelechy that is planted in the heart and soul of the caterpillar. It is the parent, or the adult, if you would, is the entelechy of the child. And so what is within us is this wisdom, is this higher self, is this greater knowingness that is calling us down this yellow brick road. But I'm not sure. I haven't been there. But there's something inside me that says I'm going to move through this fear, this anxiety, this worry, this broadcast situation that is going on, because there's something inside of me that knows more. In the sacred circles this week, and that you heard me encourage you to sign up, no cost. You go to our website, seasidecenter.org, go to the education page. The process they're going to be working this week with you is getting in touch with your entelechy, that higher wisdom, that good witch, the Wicca energy, if you would, the possibility of the infinite downloading its expression in your life, and gives you the opportunity to believe more in that than the fear that is before you. You ready for that? All right. Ernest Holmes, he's the founder of religious science. And he wrote in his book called The Science of Mind, which in a sense has become our textbook, a wonderful line that I encourage us to just take to heart deeply. I'll read the full paragraph, but there's a profound line in here. And it says, stay with the one and never deviate from it. Never leave it for a moment. Nothing can equal this attitude. And this is bold. This is what Dr. Kathy Hearn sent out to all ministerial students and ministers. It's bold. It says, to desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we do not know the truth. You got that? I'm going to say that again. To desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that we do not know the truth. We are being challenged to prove that we know the truth, that there's a higher intelligence, that there's something good coming out of this pandemic of fear that is going on right now. We are challenged to hold on to this truth, that wholeness is emerging, that there is greater good, and that is what I'm going to hold on to. And Ernest goes on to say, and when things look the worst, that is the supreme moment to demonstrate to ourselves that there are no obstructions to the operation of truth. And when things look the worst is the best time to do your work, the most satisfying time for the person who can throw themselves with complete abandonment into the limitless sea of receptivity, having cut loose from all the apparent moorings, is the one who will always receive the greatest reward. Fear is not the answer. It keeps you from putting one foot in front of the other and heading down the yellow brick road. This pandemic, we squished and alleviated if we choose to practice the truth. Remember, the antivirus to fear is love. It's the way that works. And it takes all of us practicing that. Have you ever fold bed sheets with 4 people, one on each corner, and you kind of flip it, and as one person flips, everybody else feels the flip on the sheet. right? And the other person flips and you feel it on, you can feel what somebody's doing. There is this collective sea or this consciousness that we call, that we're living in. And your flipping of the sheet, if you would, is putting a ripple that we all feel. And so this is why I have this assignment for you, is because we need you to move out of the pandemic of panic here. I need you to step into that place and do some practices. And so this is what assignment I've been giving on my noonday meditations on Facebook Live every day, is you need to double your spiritual time for every minute you put into reading headlines. So if let's say you're watching the screen or conversing on Facebook with your friends out there for 10 to 15 minutes, you need to put in 20 to 30 minutes of spiritual practices, which is no big deal. Today you got an hour, with this online here. But it's really important. And when you look at headlines or you read the statistics, I also want to encourage you to read beyond just what they're showing you. Isn't this terrible? As we spoke about last week, the magician or the illusionist has you look over here while they're doing other things. You need to watch the other headlines. Like this week, did you see Friday, at least according to the Associated Press? The Associated Press said that on Friday, the Environmental Protection Agency suspended all environmental laws and gave the green light to all businesses and corporations to go ahead and do what they need to do to the environment as long as we're going through this coronavirus outbreak without any concern of penalty, that they get to regulate themselves. They told the oil companies, do what you need to do to the environment during this time. So I just share, there's other things that go on in the midst of chaos, and you want to be aware, so that becomes your prayer request. Say, hey, you know what? This Mother Earth, I haven't seen bluer skies. I haven't seen emptier streets. I haven't seen such happy birds in the sky. There is spring, there's blue sky, there's good going on. China, they can see their sky again. Something good is happening. And what's important is for us to be able to hold on to a consciousness of doing something. So I encourage you to feel good is to go outside every day for a few minutes and let the sun just soak your body. That sun heals, doesn't it? I want you, if you can, plant, get your hands in the soil. Enough of this antiseptic stuff washing all the good stuff from your body. Get your hands in the soil and feel Mother Earth and doing her thing and healing and restoring. I saw headlines that said the medical world is saying, what's good this time is jogging and walking because you're not near anybody, and it is the flow of air that is fresh and it revitalizes your immune system. Those are the kind of things that we want to be doing right now. We've got to listen to the entelechy, the wisdom, the higher essence, the good witch, that good expression of ourselves, because as we land down here, we got to realize that I've got to put my trust not in fear, not in the headlines, but in the spiritual truth, in that rainbow, in that vision in which I have caught. That vision, that dream are the previews of my coming attraction. If I can give it at least twice as much as I'm giving the negative, it will wash it away and balance it out in the collective where people are shaking the sheets with their concerns and their fears. We've got to take responsibility for our contribution to the greater expression for humanity. And so let us believe more in our dreams and our visions than our fears. Let us know that the perfect love casts out fear. That a couple weeks ago I talked about was Isaiah, the 55th chapter, where he says, my thoughts aren't your thoughts. Yeah. So these thoughts that the world are giving, those aren't the God thoughts. I've got to spend time. As I'm moving down this yellow brick road, and these trees and these characters are calling me to understand things in a new kind of way, I've got to realize that God's way is not my way. It says, with all my heart. I put spirit first. I'm trying to think that third proverb. It says, believe in the Lord with all your heart and with all your soul, and lean not on your understanding. We need something greater here than our personal, local understanding. There's something wonderful that is going on. And as we have landed, just as Dorothy landed in Oz, this good witch, Glinda, gets her set up on the right path. See, that's important to recognize that as you enter into your odyssey, your journey that will lead you back to you, but not the same. I mean, I don't know if you've ever wanted to go back home, But that home is no longer there, just as that Kansas is not available to that little girl. I can remember wanting to go back to my home. I had one of those great homes with clans and parties, and I lived there on Hesby Street. And I go back to Hesby Street, and there is no going home. The people aren't there. The neighbors aren't there. The family's not there. We're not going back to how it was. Right? Remember 9/11? Boom, things changed. You know, we gave away a lot of our rights. Gave away privileges. You know, airline travels was no longer the same. Could no longer arrive there last minute with somebody else's ticket to use their seat. Things changed, and they don't go back. And I pray this isn't the era where we're going to say we stop shaking hands and hugging. You know, but things are going to be different. There is no going back home because there is not that home to go back to. We're going to a new place, a wonderful place when we step through this time and this era. But we got to recognize that, you know, the kingdom is not of this world. There's something higher that is seeking to operate here. And as we step onto this path with a deeper spiritual desire to understand what is going on, Glinda or that entelechy or that higher intelligence is going to make sure we are on our right path. The right yellow brick road will show us right where it starts at the center of the spiral. And as we head down this road, we will be on the right path with its challenges, with its difficulties, and with these magical, mythical friends that are going to teach us about heart and intelligence and wisdom and courage and believing in ourselves. You know, we came into this world, our parents got us going in this dimension, or our siblings or whoever it was, but there was someone to get us going. What I want us to know is as we create the space to listen to that higher something, there is a greater wisdom that's going to make sure we are on that right path. And so I'm giving you a heads up. You're going to make it home. But how much struggle, how much pain, and how much difficulty comes down to you consciously choosing your responsiveness, your ability to respond, your respondability to what is going on. Yes, these are some of the facts. These are some of the suggestions to take care of yourself. Good suggestions, embrace them. But you remember with Dorothy when she landed in Oz, she said, I feel we're not in Kansas anymore. We're not in the winter of 2020. We're entering the spring. And there's something wonderful that is waiting for us in this magical time. Make sure you take the time to be with yourself. That entelechy, that intelligence. It will reveal, it will teach, it will show you, it will empower you, it will lift you, it will motivate you, it will inspire you. I'm excited for you, for what comes of this time for each of the Seaside family. I love you. Carissa, you have another song for us with your own private microphone.
I
even.
know. Feel very special. I don't think it's actually all that different. We always get our own mic here. You guys are always germ conscious. Thank you. This one's from The Wiz, and it's called If You Believe.
Within your heart, you'll know that no one can change the path that you must go. Believe what you feel and know you're right. Because the time will come around when you'll say it's yours. Believe that you can go home. Believe you can float on air. your heels 3 times. If you believe, you'll be there. Oh, yeah. Believe in yourself right from the start. Believe in all the magic that's right there in your heart. Believe in all these things, but not because I told you to. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself as I believe in you.
That is Carissa. Woo!
Thank you.
Oh,
What a privilege.
thank you. What a great song. Oh, my goodness. That is just fabulous. Perfect song. Believe in yourself. Man, I believe in you. I know we're coming through this for sure. Hey, this is the time of our service, whether it is virtual or whether it is together, we pause in order to give us the opportunity to share our love and to support Spirit's work. And it is always important, but at this time it's as important as ever. And my heart is filled. There's just been an outpouring of contributions that have been coming into Seaside at this last week, and it's the reason it's important is that if we don't take care of our financial responsibilities, we won't have doors to open on the other side of this. And I just want to assure you, your generosity is pouring forth and is giving us confidence to continue to move through this time and reach out and connect more than ever. We are loving, we're communicating, we have compassion, we are here for each other. And I mean, I've got people and families this week have turned in their whole year's worth of pledges this week to assist us, to give us confidence in being here for you in those Zoom rooms, in the noonday meditations, in the letters, in the prayers. Got the Easter letter going in the mail next week. We are doing everything we can to reach out to you, and I encourage you to reach back to us. It feels good to know that we're not just broadcasting into a vacuum, that you're actually out there. And so it's moments like this that I just ask you to listen to your heart and support your spiritual expression that is touching you in consciousness, as well as on your screen. And to share this. I mean, the podcast, you send them to your friends. They can listen to it on the phone. There's no cost to this. We want this spiritual truth out there in the world. And so as you give, it comes back. This is a moment you at home that didn't send in something that you want to. There's donate buttons on Facebook Live, on our website. It is valuable that all of us are participating because we're doing well. And I know we're going to reach that level that we're doing as well or even better than when we have a full Sunday morning sanctuary. But that is, as you give, it comes back. It feels good to participate. It's an extension of your consciousness. You're the activity that God is having. You're believing more in the rainbow or your dream or your vision than the fear that I can't. I need to hoard. I need to hold on. Who knows what's coming? I'll tell you what's coming. God is coming because God is already here. And that abundant good is yours now. And it's time to express it now, not when it gets better. Now is the moment to understand what is going on. So listen to your heart. And I will share this prayer, and then we'll say together our affirmation prayer of abundance. And so I can feel this good that comes to support this spiritual work that is known as the Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. It's not a person. It is a community. It is a consciousness. It is a family. And I know right now that this family is together as ever before. Maybe not physically, because we're practicing physical distancing, but we are together in consciousness. This sanctuary is filled today with a consciousness, with an aliveness, with a love and a caring that is palpable, that is real, that is vibrant, that is alive, that is source. And I know for each and every one today that is part of this collective consciousness of this spiritual expression coming out in Seaside's unique style and way, I'm just grateful to be reminded and to have something to share with my family and friends and the world. For truly there is a new thought and a higher perspective than some of the headlines that are pulling it down. For we can devolve or descend, or we can emerge and evolve into a greater expression. I am choosing to be responsible for my choices. And I know right now I choose that higher way, the entelechy, that wisdom, that divine intelligence that I was born with, that knows the grandeur of the very life for which each of us lives. So with joy we support this reminder, this spiritual expression that is manifesting in a real way and communicating and connecting in a real day, in real time, in this day, in this time, in this space. And I give to support Spirit's work in this way that is needed more than ever. And what I find is the emergence of this greater light and this greater possibility. It feels good, is joy-filled to be able to support the infinite in this moment. So with joy I give, with joy I become a recipient in peace and calm and knowingness and abundance and love and security and health. It is all Spirit. It's all good. It is all God. We give, we receive. My giving blesses everyone. And so it is. Amen. Together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Man, Rebecca, how can you stay seated, man, with that going on? I can just see everybody dancing to ease on down the road. I know, you guys are going crazy. Yeah, you're scooting a little too close, back up now. I'm what they call parents watching proms. Chaperone. I'm the chaperone. You guys stay apart. Anyway, fabulous band. Carissa, bless your heart. Thank you for being here with us today. Rebecca, for rocking the house. Just love you. Kay, holding that light again this week. Just things are good at Seaside. We're just apart. And Callie, just opened our hearts. What an incredible bodhisattva reading of compassion that we all are. And, I just encourage you, get involved with one of the Zoom rooms. Go to our website and the education page and say, I want to deepen this conversation. I want that process this week, getting in touch with my entelechy, that higher wisdom of my being. That's what we're doing this week in the Sacred Circle. So do that. Watch my noonday meditations. It's at noon on Facebook. And tell everybody, Sunday morning, Seaside Live is the place to be. One of the few places that still has a full band rockin' music, and it's just special. But we're here because you're here too. We know it. We feel it. We love you. And as I started this morning, we're not canceling the love, the connection, the compassion, and the caring that goes on here. That continues. So I invite you to join me in prayer as our spiritual practitioners at home are standing up in this moment, in their living rooms, in their patios, in their kitchens. They are standing up with their candles, just as each of us every day is lighting a candle in support of the Spirit at Seaside. These candles that burn in our windows here at Seaside every night. There is a light that cannot be diminished, and it is God. And those who have kind of wondered, do I say that word, God? This is the time to go big with Spirit. If there was ever a time, now is the appointed time to know that presence is the very life of our life. It is the very essence of a being. It is the divine that is moving and grooving as our very consciousness. That I do not give my precious mind away to the fears and the panic and the anxiety that is swirling in the collective, but I shake that sheet and bring in love. I bring in caring. I bring in connection. I bring in compassion. I bring in a recognition of that which is greater than anything in this world, for it is in and through all things. That's God. And that is the entelechy, that is the wisdom, that is the good witch, the wizard, Professor Marvel. It is the intelligence in and through all things, and this is the moment in which that expression has its way as our very life. And in this allowance, letting go of those devolving, deteriorating thoughts that get pumped in by the social media and the headlines. Yes, you need to be aware of some things, but you need to have twice as much spiritual perspective. I sit with that tree that appears toxic, and I begin to understand that which is capable of causing is that which is capable of curing. And it's in this toxic moment in humanity that I come to recognize that the very heart is humanity, is our brothers and sisters, is the very point in which is the emergence of the light and the new thought and the new perspective, and it begins with you. And healing happens. When Spirit is moving, the immune system is boosted. It kicks out anything. It is the natural antivirus of all. The one that was there from the beginning of the time. The one that activates our own biological, pharmaceutical know-how for this body of ours is great and grand. It is brilliant. And I know right now we are being pointed on that perfect yellow brick road to come to discover and recognize our amazing God abilities. Taking back the power, believing and trusting the vision of the greater yet to be more than the fears. I begin to feel the blessings of the fullness of life. New ways are opening, new avenues are pouring forth the blessings that are relevant in our individual lives. I know every prayer request that has been brought forth to Seaside is fulfilled. Some prayer requests I received this week. Rob Applegate recently made his transition, wonderful minister who we've prayed for in Chiang Mai, Thailand. He moves on with the ease and the grace, healthy and free once again. For Anna Thorin, who made her transition this week, that she is surrounded by the ever-loving arms and the grace of God, and for her daughter Lisa and her grandkids, Quinn and Drake, that there is a peace that is not of this world, that is beyond understanding, thoughts that are not mine but God's, that bring a sense of well-being. For Jessica and the dynamics within her family at this time, there is peace that is returning, there is love that is there. And for Patty, dealing with strange ailments, I know that right there is perfect wholeness. That the body knows what it needs to do to eradicate that which does not belong. For Rob, for Anya and Tom, who are in Scotland, experiencing severe health challenges at home, I know that the food The medical supplies and all that is needed for their well-being finds their way into their experience perfectly. And for Wendy and Matt's grandson, Hendrix, his 3 or 4-year-old, who's struggling with some lung stuff at this time, that the presence of God is the very breath of his life, that his body moves with the perfect rhythm and the breath of spirit, that healing goes on in that young, receptive body that knows how to heal itself. And for Reverend Suzette from Om Center for Spiritual Living, her musical director, Christina Veronica, who is dealing with a late stage of growth that is going on in her physical body, that there's a healing going on, that the decision is being made within the cellular level of her being to choose that wholeness and perfect expression. For that perfect expression is our natural state. And as we remove that which doesn't belong, what remains is the emergence of spirit, that light and that life. I know every prayer request has been brought forth to this community, whether it has been sent in or just lifted in consciousness at this time, that the divine download is having its way, bringing forth the wholeness in the lives of those that are reaching out. Spirit reaches back. There is that rainbow bridge, if you would, of the connection of heaven and earth, and we have found the gold. We have found those colors beyond the 7 colors of the spectrum. But the infrared and the ultraviolet, there is more, and that fullness of God has its way in our life, and it is a color, it is spectacular. It is the luminosity of the divine itself that enriches and enlivens and lightens our life, and this I am grateful for. It is a light that shines from the very heart and soul in the center of Seaside. That is not a locale, it is not a location, it is more than its campus and its sanctuary. It is the people, it is the family, and that Spirit of God is moving in all of our lives, enriching, blessing, gracing, bringing peace, calm, tranquility, a serenity, a sense of well-being, because that is the God nature that is true now, always has been, always available, and it is manifesting as our life now. I let go and let Spirit do its thing. So it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide.
Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light.
I am
Free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life.
and my heart is open wide.
Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light.
I am
Free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Seaside, sing it at home. Come on. Peace and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm
Only here for God.
so no more struggle, no more strife.
With my faith I see the light.
I am
Free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here.
for
I trust the road to my dream.
I trust the road to my dream. I trust the road to my dream.
I trust the road to my dream.